If you've been trying to figure out how you can build your own website with WordPress and DreamHost, this is the video for you. My name is Joseph, and this channel is all about marketing and growing your business. If you're interested in that type of content, go ahead and hit subscribe and ring the bell for notifications after this is complete. Before I start the tutorial that's going to be completely free for you to use a website theme builder and to get your website launched, with the exception of you do have to pay for a domain, you do have to pay for hosting, I want to talk a little bit about Divi. Divi is what I use to actually build and allow for more functionality of my website. Now, I can't talk about that in this free tutorial because Divi costs money. It's around $89 for the license and $259 for the actual program. So I recommend that you go through this tutorial here on YouTube. If you're looking for more information, you check out what I have available in my course. Now my course will take you from A to Z on how to set up a website, and it uses Divi, and I actually give you a license as part of my Divi lifetime access. So I hope that's helpful for you. You can go ahead and jump in and get started, and I look forward to your success. I'm on the DreamHost website. I'm actually in an incognito window because I want to make sure that you can see the process of what it would look like for you. So in the description, there's a link to DreamHost. That's who I use for my websites, who I recommend for my clients. And I think it's a great host and place to register your domain. So in order to build your website, there's a few steps we're going to do. The first thing that we have to do is make sure you have a domain name. If you don't have a domain name, it's like your address on the website or on the internet, so you can't necessarily make sure people come and see your website. So the first thing we're going to do is take you through the process of getting your domain name and then setting up your hosting. So let's go ahead and jump directly into this. So when you click that link in the YouTube description, it should bring you to the home page. If it doesn't, we can go ahead and click domains right here in the menu. And we're going to use their domain search tool. So let's go ahead and do a very brief search for a domain that you would like. One thing I recommend is you try to get the .com. If you can't get a .com, it's okay to get a .net or a .co. Some businesses will even do a different type of domain name. But I recommend try to get the .com if you can. So I will start with the basic search that I believe will probably be open. So I'll just take what it says there in the text, your great idea starts here. I'll just do that, .com, and we'll see if that's available. If it's not available, what it will do is give us suggestions. But as you can see, it says, huzzah, your great idea starts here, .com is available. It will also give me all of these recommendations where I can try to see if I want to purchase one of these or if I want to go a different way. So I might say, oh, wow, this is even better. I like the idea of make your great idea start here. One thing before you move to the next step, I recommend you always try to get the .com. If you can, take a moment and just look and make sure you spelled it correctly. You don't want to have a domain name and you spelled it incorrectly. So after clicking the link, you'll come to dreamhost.com. You'll enter in the domain name that you want. You can review, see if there's other ones that you want to buy. Right now there's a sale going on, so these are a little bit lower. If they are higher, well, it just depends on what time of the year you're going to purchase it. One reason that I'm recommending DreamHost is that they don't trick you. They won't add a lot of things that you don't need. One thing you'll get with your domain, which I think is very important, is this free private registration. If you're using a different type of place, a lot of people will go with GoDaddy or other places and they charge you for every single thing they do. DreamHost is really good about just getting you what you need and making it simple and giving you one price. So I recommend you go with that. So the first thing we're going to do is get your domain name. After you have that, we'll go ahead and click this buy now for $6.99. And it will start taking us through the process of what it looks like to get this domain name. So the first thing is I noticed there are 4 steps. So there's a create your account, register the domain name, additional options, and then the money part. So I'm going to briefly go through this with you so you'll see what it's like for you. And I'll put in a fake email address because I'm really not going to buy this. So let's just do Joseph Gmail at josephgmail1.com. And I'll just make a fake password that will work. All right, it tells me that it's good, everything is good. So I will click continue, and that will take me to the next step where it says register the domain name. Now, once again, this is another time that you can look at the domain name, make sure it's spelled correctly, it's exactly what you want. And if it is, you would just go ahead and go to the next section. If you can, I would say register it for 2 years. In most cases, if this is a business and you want it to be around for a while, you probably want to register it for 2 years. If you're unsure and you just like the domain name, go ahead and get it for 1. But for this example, we'll just go ahead and click 2 years, which will take the price up. And you see that there's a discount. So I'll go ahead and do 2 years because it's a good idea so you don't miss it once it expires after a year. But if you can't, stay with that $6.99 and totally fine. Now, this is what I love about DreamHost is at this point, a lot of other people will give you 20 options to decide what you want for other options. All they're asking at this point is if you want hosting, which brings us to the second thing that you need for a website. First, you need a domain. The second thing is that you actually need a place to put all of your files, all of your images. How can people connect with your content is the domain hosting. So this will be an additional price of $12 a month. And if you register for longer, sometimes you can get a discount or things can change, but it allows you to have multiple websites. It gives you a free SSL certificate. So that means when someone comes to your website, it would say HTTPS, which means it's a secure connection, and they're connecting to your website. They know that it's not a fake website if they're going to give any credit card information. So that's really important. And then it gives you some tools to make it easy to install WordPress. So you will need this. So we have the domain, and then for our domain, we're getting hosting. Super simple, one option. And all we have to do now is click continue. After you click continue, it's going to take you to the money part. Very simple to put in your information. You can see it's just going to ask for your first name, last name, your phone number. I think what's really important here and to notice is that even though you're putting in this information about your first name, last name, and your phone number, you're going to have something called domain privacy. So if someone tries to look up and see who owns the domain, they won't be able to tell because it's going to show that it's registered to DreamHost. So even though you're putting this information there, other people will not be able to see it. It will be shown as private, and it will say something to the extent of another happy hoster with DreamHost or something like that. So that's very important. Your information will not be out there. If you didn't do the 2 years, this price will be lower for you. You would go ahead, put in all your information. After you put your information in, go ahead and click place order now. Once you click place order now, DreamHost is going to do a lot of things behind the scenes, and it's going to get your hosting set up, and then it'll send you email and say your account set up. Once your account's set up, then we're ready to start installing WordPress. So we've done the first 2 parts. We're almost there. Okay, so once you get that email from DreamHost saying that your account is set up, the next thing that we're going to want to do is actually log in. And it will have a link where you can log in, make sure everything's set up. As you can see, this is what the login screen will look like. You'll come in here, type in your email address, then put in your password and click sign in. Super simple. Once you're signed in, now we'll actually go through the process of what it looks like to start looking at the dashboard. The first time you log in, it'll look something like this. Now it's going to depend if they're launching something new, if there's a sale. As you can see now, it's the summer. So there's domain registrations. They've been dropped to $6.99, which is a great thing that's happening for a lot of people that want a website. It depends on what updates they're doing. So yours is going to look something like this. The main point to recognize here is that your main primary navigation is going to be on this left-hand side over here. So the first thing that we want to do is click on domains, and then we're going to go directly to one-click installs. Now here's the cool part. You've purchased your domain, you've purchased your hosting. Now we want to install WordPress. So you don't have to know how to do anything but click a few buttons. So once you click one click installs, we're going to click on learn more and install. Once you click on learn more and install, I have tons of domains, tons of websites. Most of them are going to be grayed out, but for this example, I created one called youtube.josephbojang.com. So we're going to use that one. For you, it would be whichever one that you set up. So the name that you bought, the website that you bought, is the option that you would have here. If you bought multiple websites, you would just have to choose that option. It's also important to note that if your website is not where you want WordPress to be installed, it gives you an option here for some people that they might put blog. I don't recommend that. For most people that are watching this video, we want WordPress to be the main website, and we'll create a blog within that. So go ahead and leave this blank. You can use the deluxe install, or you can deselect this. For this example, we're going to go ahead and leave it installed because I want to show you what it looks like if you use it. But then at the end of this video, I'll give you an idea of what it could be if you just want a blog and you plan to use, I actually have a link to a course that I created that I use Divi. So if you want to use that course, you would go ahead and deselect this information. But if you've signed up with DreamHost, go ahead and leave it checked, and we can always uninstall this information. But for now, we'll just go ahead and click install it for me now. It's better to delete it later than to not do it and try to figure out how to add it. So as you can see, it didn't take hardly any time. But right now, it's showing me that WordPress is setting up a website for me for the domain that I selected. It's going to take about 10 minutes. So at this point, you can go take a quick coffee break, or you can grab some tea and then come back, and then we'll be ready. But the biggest thing that you need to know for the next step, you will have to wait for that email. That email will come, and it's going to give you all the information for how to log into your website and how to make sure that you can start installing. So I have an example of what that email will look like, and I'll show you that right now. So this is what the email will look like. What you'll do is you'll click this first link. It'll let you set up your password for the first time. Anytime you need to come back to your website, you could use this to log on, but I'll show you a different way to do it. But this is what you're going to get in that email. It'll say DreamHost Installer Robot. So once you get this, you're ready to move on to the next step. Okay, so you've received the email, you've clicked on the link to reset your password, and now what it does is it's going to bring you to a page that looks like this, where you'll have your username. You may have already set up your password, but to access this page, what you're going to do is always go to your website. So in this example, I would type in the website that I set up. I would put /WP admin, and that's how you can log into your website in the future to make any updates that you ever need to make. The first time that we try to log in, because we selected to use the premium content, it's going to bring us to a page like this. There's going to be 3 main steps that we're going to use. The first one is to choose our theme. Then we're going to choose page options and enter any information that we want to add. So we'll go ahead and get started, and that's going to take us to choosing the theme that we want. We have so many different types of options. We could go by default, general, consulting, marketing. For this example, I'll go ahead and select consulting, and then we'll go with this theme right here called Swifty. Once I click select, it will then take us to the content that we want to install. I can do 5-page. Right now you see I have a home page, our services, and contact us, which might be enough for you. And you could just click install. What we'll do is we'll click on blog, because we also want a blog page for our website so that we can let people know what's happening with our business and important information. You'll also notice that we'll have these options here where your website will be mobile responsive. It will be fit for any type of iPad or tablet, and then you will also have a mobile device. So if I click on mobile device here, it shows me what this page would look like, which is awesome. We're not going to do too much with it here, but I wanted to let you know this is a mobile responsive website, which is extremely important to Google. So now that we have those things squared away, we went base, we added blog, and then we're going to click next. Once we're here, we can go ahead and update the website. So YouTube website test, and I'm going to not display my email, my phone number, my address. I will go ahead and leave my Facebook and social media profiles there, and I'll click finish and install. So it's going to take a moment, but it's going to install all of these things so that we can actually get started with our website. And then you can just sit back, relax, know that you've launched your brand, your business, your blog into the world. Okay, once everything is actually installed and it's ready to go, this is where you will land on a page like this. If for any reason your website times out or you're not able to get to this, you can actually go log back into your website by going to your websitename.com, doing /WP admin. And if you click that, you log back into your website, it'll take you to this page. So now that you're logged in, there's a few things that we could start doing. Let's just say the first thing that we want to do is actually, we can hover over the name of your website and click visit site, and it'll show you that you actually have a website set up. This website is going to be the name that we selected whenever we were going through the BoldGrid install. And we have a fully functional website. Now there's some things that you're gonna wanna go ahead and make sure that they're updated. But if this is the theme that you like, then we're gonna go ahead and just change the text, maybe even change some images. You can make sure your contact information is correct, but you see that you have a fully functioning website. So we will go ahead and go back to the dashboard. I can do that by hovering over here and going to the dashboard. And how we're going to navigate this, and I'm only going to show you some really quick tips to actually move around for this first part of this video, but you can always check out my other videos to know how to do more in-depth things. Now we will come to the place where we just want to edit some of the pages. If you're ever looking to add a new page, you can come here and do that. But for now, we're going to click on customize. And when we're on customize, so now that I've clicked customize, it's going to show me a way that I can edit my site. There's a few things that I can do, and I'll show you some of the things that we can edit. You'll see here that in some areas we have these little widgets and text items. So let's say I want to edit this part. I can click on that and it says this section is part of the individual page of your site. So as you can see, I can't edit this because I would have to go to that specific page. But there is content here that I could edit. So if I want to change the title or the name of my website, I could just click that little pencil and we can see here, we can say YouTube. Let's just change the way we spell it, YouTube website. So now I can put in a tagline. This is to teach you something good. So I can add these types of things. I could change the font, I could change the position, I could add shadows, I could add a logo. There's a lot of things that I could do here, but you'll see that there are some things that you can change based off of it being this page, or I have to go to that individual page. But for now, if you wanted to change some of these simple things like the footer that will be shown on every page, you can change that here by customizing it. You could change your background, your fonts, and all those things. So to see anything that you change happen, just click publish. Once it's published, now the website will show that, not just here, but that's what people viewing your website would look. But let's say you did want to change this, or you wanted to change this option right here. What we can do, there's a few ways that we can do it, but I'll show you one of the ways to just go into a particular page and how you can change something. So let's actually just click here on our services. And let's say I want to click and change here, or I want to go to the actual page. I could click here, go there now. And what it's going to do is take me to that spot in WordPress where I can make those changes. Let's go ahead and skip setup. And then now, as you can see, everything that was on that page, I can change here. So if I want to change request a consultation today, I could just get rid of today and do request a consultation with an exclamation mark. And if I make any changes here, all I have to do is click this update button here, and all my content will be updated. And if I go to that page, it says page updated. I can click on this, view a new page, and it'll show me that update that I made. So now your website's up. What you have to do is go through, start updating the pages, start updating the images, but you're set. And you can start sharing this with everyone. You have a simple website. As you can see, maybe that process took you 45 minutes while you're waiting for emails. You're waiting for WordPress to be set up. You're thinking of your domain name, but it's a very simple process to get this done. So this is an easy way with using DreamHost to do this. Now let me show you a different way if for whatever reason you didn't want to use BoldGrid, which is free when you sign up through DreamHost, but you want to use a different process. Let's say that you're just setting up a blog. If you're just setting up a blog, whenever you set up your website, I asked you to not use those two premium options. So this is what you would do. You would still do everything exactly the same way. You would set up your website, you would log in, but this is what it would look like for you as soon as you went to your dashboard. You wouldn't have that area that said inspirations. It's gonna look a little bit different, but what you could do is come down here to where it says appearances. You can click on themes, and you're gonna be able to either add new themes or go with one of the WordPress themes. Now, in my course, I use a theme called Divi. I think Divi is fantastic. It actually costs a little bit of money. If you're using my course, you get the Divi as a part of the course. So there's a lot of things that I can show you how to use it. But if you're just looking to set up a blog, you could go through one of these blogs, or you could click Add New, and you could search for a blog, a type of blog post that you like. But once you do that, you could select the one that you have. We're gonna go ahead and go with what we already have, but this is how you would add a new one. So let me take you through that process. Let's say that I want it to install. All I do is click Install. After it installs, I'm gonna have the option to activate it. When you activate it, that means you're making it your actual website. But if I don't do it, it will just show us all of the themes that we have available. So right now, this is the one that's active, but I can make this one active, I can make this one active, or I can make this one active. I can add as many themes as I would like, and I can make the one active that I want to use. But if it's just a blog, we'll just go ahead and go with the default WordPress one, and I'll show you how you can add a new blog post to your website so that you can then start making sure that your website is getting that information out. So now that we know that this is the theme, and if you want to look at your website, you can always go here, hover, click visit site, and it's going to show us what our website would look like. Right now, we don't really have many blog posts, but we can go ahead and go back to the dashboard and add a new post, or we can come here and click on new post. Once we click on new post, we can add a title. This is my hello world. Then I could come here, I could put in all my text that I wanted to add. I could add a new image. If I had one, I could add heading. This is so cool. So I won't go over all the editing that you can do, but pretty much you could come in here, add your first blog post, click publish. Once you click publish, now this is going to be something that's going to be on the front of your website, and I can click this post right here to view it. Once I view the post, this is my post. This is the title. This is my hello world. It tells me who posted it, when I posted it, if there's any comments, my text. This is my heading that I put in. But this would be the basics. Of course, you can change the design, but I wanted to show you how easy it could be. So hopefully this was helpful for you to set up your website, to set up your blog post. If you are looking for more information to get your website started and a step-by-step, I recommend you click the button below and take my WordPress Divi course. It's going to take you through some of these processes that we just did, but more in depth, how to pick your domain name, what to do after you install, some themes, some pages I think that you need, and then some considerations for SEO. But if you don't need that, I say go ahead and get started with what I have here, and then you can look at my future videos that will primarily leverage Divi and show you how to add blog posts and how to do some SEO and things of that sort. So I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll see you next time.